It's the Week 9 Fox NFL cheat sheet. I'm Peter Schrager. Here are my thoughts. Number 1, the Rams are now all in how many integers and how many multiples of in can you have? The Von Miller trade is a signal to the rest of the league that it is this year, it is this Super Bowl, and it is the one that is being played in Los Angeles that the Rams plan on winning. I can tell you this from inside sources at the Rams building. They didn't think the Von Miller trade was necessarily going to happen when they went to bed on Sunday night. That's because the Broncos beat Washington and the Chargers lost to the Patriots. Well, what's that matter? Well, the Broncos are suddenly 4-4 and alive and well in the AFC playoff picture. Von Miller's a key piece. They got on the phone on Monday morning, the trade goes down, and the Rams, they get their guy, Von Miller. I'm also told by sources in LA that players on the Rams roster were elated and were lifted by the deal. When you're 7-1 and your front office says, no, we're more concerned in getting you a Super Bowl ring than the guys down the line and the future of our jobs, it does something. Told that Leonard Floyd found out the news walking into the building Monday and he was pumping his fist and he was elated over the deal because now he's got a pass rushing partner on the outside. Obviously Aaron Donald's excited, Jalen Ramsey's excited, and with all these trades, the Stafford deal, the Ramsey deal, and all these other ones, it means that the Rams will not have a first-round pick until 2024. But it also means that they have made that message known to every single person in that building. We're trying to win now. Von Miller, welcome to the LA Rams. Rams, welcome to Super Bowl or bust talk times 1,000. Here we go. Number 2, the race for the 7 seed in the NFC is kind of interesting. Yes, I'm talking about the 7 seed in the NFC. Once the NFL expanded the playoff picture, things got really interesting because it really opens the door to a mediocre team or a barely above average team playing January football. And this year in the NFC, the Packers, the Cardinals, the Cowboys, the Rams, they all are going to the playoffs. They've got 1 loss. Then you got the 6-2 Buccaneers currently in the 4th seed. And then you've got the 5-2 Saints currently in the 6th seed. From there, it gets really wonky and really mediocre. Who are you rolling with? The Panthers? Are you rolling with the Vikings? Are you rolling with the Niners? I mean, the Niners are a game out of the playoffs right now. The Falcons? The Eagles are 3-5 and alive. The Seahawks are 3-5 and alive. The Bears are 3-5 and alive. Even Washington and the Giants at 2-6. They're only a few games back from that 7 seed. We've got 5 really good teams in the NFC. We've got the Saints who are hanging on right now and will be dealing with injuries. And then you've got a lot of average folks trying to get that 7 seed. Keep an eye on that 7 seed. It's going to get really weird over the next few weeks, and I kind of like it. Number 3. Here comes Belichick. Yep, here comes Belichick. We're talking about a Patriots team that has now beaten the Jets 54-13 and then went into Los Angeles and beat Justin Herbert and the Chargers pretty handedly after falling behind early. Patriots are right now outside the playoff picture, but they're 4-4. They're winners of 2 straight games, and the rest of their way, it's not so tough. Take a look at their schedule. They play the Panthers this week. They play the Browns, who've been struggling. They play the Falcons, who are hit or miss. The Titans without Derrick Henry. They've got the Bills, who they've beaten in the past. And then Colts, Bills again. And then they finished the season with the Jaguars and the Dolphins. They're a 4-4 team right now. They've got all these games left. Let's say they lose both to the Bills. Find me another couple losses. Here comes Belichick, here comes Mac Jones. The Patriots are playing good football, and don't be shocked if they're the team that nobody wants to face in that first round of the playoffs come January. Belichick took 1 year off from the playoffs. Here we are, year 2 removed from Tom Brady, and New England is right back in it. Number 4, another lost season for the boys in blue. I don't know how this happened to the Giants, but here we are yet again. They're 2-6, and it's almost most frustrating as an observer because of the way they lose. It's sloppy, it's undisciplined, it's penalties that are killing them. So they have now lost 3 different games, the one against the Falcons, the one against Washington, and now the one Monday night against the Chiefs where they led in the 4th quarter and lost. But the Washington game, they had a 340-pound defensive tackle go offsides on a field goal attempt, which gave Washington another field goal attempt, which put the game away. And then against Kansas City, They get the interception, but it's an offsides penalty, so they give the Chiefs the ball back. Against Kansas City, they get a big completion, but it's a 15-yard taunting penalty for a guy named Eli Penny doing the first down signal in a Chiefs opponent's face. And then there's a face mask that absolutely crushes the Giants as well. Penalties. That's what's most frustrating for the Giants. Yeah, they've been without Saquon and Kenny Golladay for much of the season, but 2-6, even with those injuries, it's just unacceptable. And even worse, the way they're losing these games. Undisciplined football from a team that we thought was going to come in completely with their I's dotted and with their T's crossed. Number 5. The running back position has another wrench in it this week. We see that Derrick Henry is now out for at least 6 to 8 weeks, and we cringe because he was having this historic season. But if you want to talk more about the value of the running back position, look at who the leading rushers from last week were, and look who's right up on top of that. Elijah Mitchell, who was the second rookie selection at the running back position for the San Francisco 49ers, had 137 yards. Michael Carter, whose teammate Javonte Williams at UNC was drafted before him, had a huge day for the Jets. And Najee Harris, who's a rookie for the Steelers, had a big day for Pittsburgh. All 3 of those teams won. All 3 of those teams relied on rookies. It is tough for the veteran running back position in the NFL. We know that it is so hard for those big contracts to come and their free agent season. It's even harder when you see the cheap labor, if you will, the rookie running backs having such huge days. Elijah Mitchell, nobody had him as the number 1 guy in San Francisco. He's been the number 1 guy, a late round draft pick. Michael Carter, everyone looked at Ty Johnson or how could you get rid of Le'Veon Bell? Well, here's Michael Carter, a draft pick doing the job for the Jets. And then as I mentioned, Najee, yes, a first round pick, but not one of the highest paid running backs in the league. The running back position, I always say these guys should have a union because their deal is so different than everybody else. But in the same week that their number 1 guy, Derrick Henry, goes down, it turns out that it's 3 rookies who have huge days for teams that won games on Sunday. It's an enigma, the running back spot. It just is what it is. There's no real reason to pay these running backs huge money. There's always a next man up coming in the NFL draft. And those are my thoughts. Keep an eye on all the games this week. Week 9. Got the Packers and the Chiefs on Fox. I love that. Enjoy it. That's the cheat sheet. I'm Peter Schrager.